everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Arts at EPCC. My name is Dr. Yasmin A. Flores, and with me today is somebody that's not from any of the arts departments, but she is the person in charge of the Spring Arts Festival. It is Ms. Carolyn Woolf. Hello, and welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
It's funny because they tell us not to talk about the weather because they can show this TV show at any time, but it is a little bit chilly today. That's all I will say. Right. So, Carolyn, first of all, welcome to the show. I have already formally introduced you to George, our plant, and he's joining in as well. So, Carolyn, how long, first of all, where are you originally from?
I'm actually originally from Michigan, from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
I transferred down here to New Mexico State in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Yeah.
And that's where I finished off my degrees. So
awesome.
Got a job at EPCC. So.
Wonderful. And so what was it that drew you to, what kept you here? Was it the beautiful warm weather?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
I'm getting to a point now where I'm kind of missing winter a little bit.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and water especially. But
right.
just kind of need that water sometimes.
Yeah.
But, yes, I guess I stayed because I got the job. I was, it's such a hard profession to get a good job.
It is.
And I had put, resumes out all over the country. And they were one of them that gave me an interview. I had about 3 interviews, and so then they offered me the position, and I was like, oh, okay, well, let's do it and see what happens. So,
and that position was in English,
yes,
because you're actually from the English department.
Yes.
What is your specialty in English?
Well, I don't know that we necessarily have specialties, but what I got my graduate degrees in was composition and rhetoric. So teaching writing, basically.
Okay. All right.
And understanding different forms of writing, and also creative writing poetry. So
nice.
I do have a little artistic side to me.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And now you teach isn't it British?
We do have literature classes. We have Brit Lit classes, and I do teach those. Yeah.
Yes. And that's where my brain was going. So that's really awesome. So now, and you've been with the college how long now?
Since 2004.
Wow, almost 20 years. How about, and they fly by, don't they?
Yes, yeah, they do.
That's incredible.
Yep, stay busy.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, yes, I completely understand. So now, you have with you a few things today, and one of those, of course, is it's an older version of the Spring Arts Festival, but the new version will be shown on the screen. First of all, let's talk about what the Spring Arts are at EPCC. What is that?
So the Spring Arts Festival is a great way for EPCC to show the student, the faculty, the staff, that there's artists here.
Right.
And we have students and faculty and staff and community members that are all part of the different events that we have. So we try to include all kinds of genres of arts. So the visual arts, they may have the student exhibition every year. And then we've got the music where you have the faculty do a grand recital usually every year, and then the students have their ensembles. And then we've got our EPCC theater, which is always, they're ongoing, but we always help advertise for them as well. We have poets or other authors that come in and do readings of their books that have just been published, and then we have kind of little celebrations with them, or they come to the classrooms to be with students and teach different techniques and things like that. Always the dance usually brings someone in to have some different teachers for the dance students, and then they have their recital or concert at the end of the year. We try to get in film, mariachi. I mean, it's,
Right.
We really try to get everybody involved. Yeah.
Of course. And you all have a beautiful poster, and it goes out all over our media to show all the different events that are going on throughout the spring. So when did you take this over?
Well, I've actually done 2 different spurts.
Okay, all right.
I did it while I was still tenure track. I think it was like 2005, 2006.
Okay.
So the first couple years I was here, and I took it over from Manny Velas, who had been doing it for a few years.
Okay.
And he was kind of he was a poet as well.
Oh, nice.
And so I took that over from him, and he kind of showed me the ropes. And back then, we actually used to get grants from the city to do some of these events. So we would get half the money from the city, and then we would have to match the funds. Right. Well, then that got cut. And so then EPCC had to come back with, filling that money back in, which luckily they did. And so I did it for a couple years then, and then I rotated off because I was tenure track, so I was trying to put my fingers everywhere, and try things out. And then once I got tenure, I was seeing that the Spring Arts Festival just wasn't as, where's the poster? Where's the, where are these events? I don't see anything being announced or... So I asked to have the coordinatorship again and was able to get it, and I've had it now, I think, for 8 or 9 years. This might be the 9th year in a row that I'm doing it.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah.
Because ever since I started in 16, I've always known you as it's the Spring Arts Festival person. Yes, and so and we've helped you along the way, and sometimes some events are all happening on one day, as was the case during the 50th anniversary. I remember there was so you used to have an open house.
Yeah, I started that a few years ago, but before the pandemic, I started it and did it for a couple years in a row. And I would even add in culinary arts. I tried to get everybody in there.
I remember that.
Yeah. And it was kind of like an open house for everyone to come and see all of the different things that EPCC does, because you don't think of community college for arts a lot of times.
Right.
And so it was a really great place for the kids to come, and we had balloons and we had t-shirts, and this is actually something that we had. We were giving away tote bags and things like that. And so at some of the events we have little swag that we give away.
Yes.
And so
I'm going to display this here so that everyone can see it.
Yep.
Yes, and so this is, and yes, and you have different kinds of swag all throughout the year and whatnot, and so, or I should say, all throughout the spring.
Yeah.
And so now here's a question. So we had the pandemic, right?
Yes.
This was
it was a challenge.
Yes, the whole world, everything was kind of put on pause, at least for music. There was not much we could do online, and people ask us why, and the reason why is it has to do with internet speed. Internet speed is a big issue when you're trying to do things in sync.
Sure.
Right? And so we had to explain to the dean at the time, who was Primazich, and he understood because he was a musician, that anything that we did, it was just too awkward. And we tried so hard. I've told this story several times. With Daniel Becker, he actually, we had students record themselves. They had on a metronome. They had all these things. But there's subtle little nuances that each musician does. And if you're not listening to somebody, when he stacked the recordings,
it was probably awful.
It was bad. It was. And you know what? We're not the only ones. This happened worldwide.
Yeah, sure.
People were announcing that they were going to do an online performance, and guess what? Suddenly those announcements were pulled.
Yeah.
Because when they started to realize that there's no real way to cleanly add all these tracks, it was just so. We're done. Pandemic be done.
Right.
And it is over.
Right.
Kind of. We have masks, and there's still obviously
although the
sickness.
Spring Arts Festival was able to continue because we did have quite a few virtual events that we did.
Yes,
and even the theater was able to pre-record and do their, so I mean, we did kind of coast through the pandemic still had an arts festival.
Right. And there were things, Ted did a marvelous job, Ted Carver. My hat's off to Ted out there. If you're watching, Ted, if you're accidentally stumbling upon our channel and you remember, come back to us, Ted, right? I've had him on the show about 3 times, and he's marvelous. I love interviewing him, and he does a great job. And I've told him, you know what? Pull me into the rehearsals, because that way I can at least ensure that I'll see at least a portion of the production, because I get so busy, as we all do, right? And so those performances. He has some performances coming up this spring, and they're probably going to be on the new poster. Yes. Excellent.
Yep. He's got some one-act comedies.
That's right.
Yep.
Yes, he does.
Yep.
And then Alexis is always doing things in dance.
Yeah, I think that her guest artist fell through this year, but they are
Okay.
doing the spring concert at the end of the
Oh,
semester.
good.
So
Excellent.
I always bring my girls to that.
They do a stunning job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, we in music, we have our March performance, and then we have an April performance, that's the faculty grant, and the May performance, which is our showcase. So everybody
Mm-hmm.
has so much stuff going on all over the college. You can never be bored.
And
in
the
El
senior
Paso.
program is always on the Spring Arts Festival as well.
Oh, awesome!
They usually have some sort of talent showcase or something.
Yes, she
Yeah.
does. Mary
Yeah,
Yanez
Mary.
does that. And I love working with Mary Yanez. Mary Yanez has now become she's the heart of EPCC TV because she's done her show for over 25 years
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So, and I've been interviewed by her as well when I first came on board. So you've been doing it for 10 years. What is your favorite aspect of pulling together the Spring Arts? And can you please bring back the open house?
I know you keep asking me about it every year. Well, I think probably next year will be a good year to bring it back, because what I've been waiting for is that full on, we're back to the full face-to-face and
Yes.
everybody's back on board, and I feel like I have a full list of events again. And that we can now, everybody's invested again.
Right.
Everybody's back. And so probably next year will be a good start to that one again.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm so
Because it
happy.
was a lot of fun.
It was. And, we would put little balloons up and basically to kind of give the audience, if you're not familiar with the open house, as she pointed out, it's, did you do it at all the campuses or just Via Verde?
No, we just did it Via Verde.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because that's where the art department really has their
You're
setup. So we
right.
were, yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, yes, Via Verde is the main hub for all the arts. And so at Via Verde, which is 919 Hunter Drive, you can stop in and start looking for those posters next year, right? And you can come and visit us. And we're in our classrooms. If it's a Friday night, you've done. I remember one year was Friday night.
We did a Friday night, and that went pretty well. I think I did a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I think I did a middle of the week too.
Oh, did you?
At some point,
Okay.
because I had, that was the year that I got the mural up at VV. Do you know about the mural?
Are you talking about the one by the library?
No, the one if you're at the ISC in the A building and you look across.
Oh, the beautiful one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my mural. I got that done, baby.
Oh, wow. That's a gorgeous.
I got the extra
every
funding
time.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was a real famous artist from El Paso that's done a lot of the murals around town. I can't remember his name. Jesus something.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember his last name, but yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a gorgeous mural.
Yeah.
It's behind the person that's bowing, right?
Yes.
So there's the.
Yeah, it's in the sculpture garden.
Never called it that
Yeah.
before. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
so there's
that's
a
what that is, yeah.
sculpture garden.
Yeah.
Excellent. You're right, because I get it now. They should have a name somewhere.
They should have a plaque or something for it.
That's
Yeah,
the sculpture
but that's what
garden.
I've always been told that's what it's called. Yeah,
Oh.
and so that's why we chose that spot.
Oh, the more you know. How about that? Right. Well, I always learn so much especially from faculty that have been here for a long time, and so yes, I never realized that, because there are sculptures in all three corners. It's this one, and then the one. This is the one in front of the gym, and so you're talking about the mural that's essentially on top of the
It's
gym.
kind of on that walkway that goes by the
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's beautiful too. Lucy, I think, was the one responsible for the one by the library.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she was the one that started it all.
Yes.
She was the founder of the Spring Arts Festival. This was her baby.
Let's give credit to, for those of you that still remember, Dr. Lucy Scarborough from the music department, who started with the college. So the college opened in '69, and I think she came on board around 1970 or '71. And as she put it, she told me this funny story that two things. Number one, to recruit, she went into the registrar's line. The line of people that were lined up
Oh, wow.
back in the day, because you could remember this,
Not
before
online yet.
computers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so you had to literally physically stand in line and wait for someone to tell you, this is going to be your schedule, this is going to be this, now go pay your bill, etc. And she would find people in that line and she would hand them a flyer for the music appreciation courses.
Yeah, nice.
And the second story that she told me was she would get on the back of a pickup truck and drive through Ranchland announcing the classes on a megaphone.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. That was very.
She's a little fire plug.
She was.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was something.
She scared me actually the first year that I did this because I was only here for 2 years.
Right.
I didn't know anybody yet.
Right.
I'm doing the Spring Arts Festival. Okay, sure, we'll do the Spring Arts. So there was some music events. And I put Armin Harrison's name because he was the one that turned in the paperwork.
Sure.
And then I got a call from Dr. Scarborough.
Yes.
She was not happy with me and said, and you're a woman of all things, that you should know that the woman's name should be on Yes, Dr. Scarborough, yes, I will change that immediately. I will fix that.
Yeah.
But I mean, she was fabulous. She was so supportive, really, of just keeping this going. And every time I had a meeting with coordinators, she would be there.
Oh,
and
yes.
So it was really kind of funny because I really didn't know her from anyone.
Right.
Of
course.
But yet I did know her by reputation. So
exactly. And I mean, at that point, she would have already been with the college 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
35 years or so. And so, which is insane. So she was, of course, our biggest promoter for music. And so she had her friends, she had her admirers, she also had her enemies. Because if there was ever money, she was going to go after that money, and it was going to be hers. And because it was music, right?
Yes.
And so she was responsible for the Chopin Festival for 25 years. Gave her last performance literally just a few months before she died.
Yes, in fact, I should have brought the poster that we had that was dedicated to her after she passed.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful.
It was.
Because how we get our poster images is I have a contest in the fall, and students and faculty and community members are welcome to put in whatever they've done. It can be a picture, it can be a piece of pottery that they've taken a picture of. They can paint it, they can sketch it, whatever. We've had all kinds of things, digital prints, all kinds of things. And that year, I decided, well, we need to do a poster that has Lucy on there somehow.
Yeah.
And the student that put that together, there was a couple actually that were really beautiful, tastefully done.
Yes.
Gorgeous, and you could see Lucy's face in them or something, I mean, it was just great. And so that was really meaningful for me, and I think for a lot of us that are part of the arts to be able to dedicate something to her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. And she meant so much to so many of us, and just an amazing person. And I'm sad that we don't do the Chopin Festival anymore, just because she was the driving force behind it. And so, but hopefully things to come with Lucy, because she's still on our minds, right? But now, okay, so Spring Arts has been around. Lucy started it. You got it from Manny.
So we're on 46 years. This is the 46th year.
Oh, this goes back. Wow. That was early. It was mid-70s. That's amazing. Okay. And so I guess my question is, what is the most memorable thing that you've ever done through the Spring Arts Festival?
That's a good question. The open house stuff was good.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that. At the very beginning, the first couple years that I had done it, what Manny had passed on to me was doing some sort of gala.
Oh.
And it was like kind of an award ceremony. We also had the fashion design do like a runway show of some of their stuff. And then we had, there was a poetry and a fiction contest, and we would award the winners there, and they would read their piece. And it was kind of like a little, not a dinner, we would have kind of hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. And then that just kind of faded away. I don't know what happened to that.
Okay, right.
It disappeared in the interim where I was not the coordinator anymore. But that was a lot of work, and that was a lot of fun because you were really showing the students' work, and the students were kind of, the main center of it all.
Let me ask you, because in my memories are now like little broken cobwebs anymore at all the years that I've been here at EPCC now. I heard there was a lady who had people make bowls.
Oh, Mary Scott.
Okay.
Mary Scott.
Was that
was
part
Empty
of it?
Bowls.
Empty Bowls. Okay.
That's the charity that is everywhere. Where you have the art students make all these bowls and fire them, and then to make money for Empty Bowls, I think is the name of the actual charity itself.
Oh, nice.
And so on a Saturday or something, the culinary arts folks would make like 4 different kinds of soup, and you would come in and you'd pay $5 or $10 for your bowl of soup, and you would purchase that bowl that you ate your soup out of, and that all that money, all those proceeds went to the Empty Bowls. Oh, she did that for years and years and years.
And so that wasn't a part of the gala, though.
It was not a part of the gala. It was an event that we
But it was an event.
would put on there. Yeah, that's right. I had forgotten about Mary, and I'd forgotten about Empty Bowls.
Yeah, and I heard this story from another Mary. I heard this story from Mary Beth Hahn, actually, and she was telling me about it. And actually, I think there might be a bowl over at marketing that's stuck on the wall.
Probably.
And I think that might have something to do with it. So I was kind of curious about that. That's very interesting. So many things that we can do that I would love to plan. And because you're right, the galas, which now I'm very interested about this gala.
Oh no!
I know. What have I done? What did I just take on?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, and awesome. I have to say, you're asking about my favorite event too.
Yeah.
My favorite event was actually the first open house that I did, because we did it at the museum downtown. And we used their backstage area, it was a back area. It wasn't like the museum itself, but they have like this kind of back way you go in, and they have like a theater. And so we had the Children's College performed. They had dancers and musicians, and then we had the art hung in the hallways, and there was a cello quartet, and there was all kinds of different things, and we had some food and things, and that was probably one of my favorites, because it was something off campus that I had never done that before.
Right.
And it was very successful. It was really a nice time.
You talking about by the plaza? Or you talking the art museum?
The art museum.
Yeah, by the plaza. Okay, I know exactly where you're talking about now.
Yep.
It's like a loading dock, right?
Yeah, it's like in the back, and they just have kind of some hallways, but they have this theater. They have like an auditorium back there. Yeah. And it was great. It was really great.
That's awesome. And I agree with you, so to put the bug in some people's ears, right, around the college, for whoever may be watching, it is something where I wish that, and now post-pandemic, we can finally start talking about these things again.
Right.
That we would collaborate a little more with community organizations, because it's the community college.
Right.
Yes. And
it's
so
true.
It is a lot of planning.
It is.
It is so much.
It is a lot of planning.
50th anniversary thing, which was Lisa Elliott and Carrie Moe.
And that was the last open house we had.
Oh, wow.
That one on that Saturday.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
And there were 3 events going on.
Because that was
day.
2019.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a Saturday. There was the Children's College was having an event downstairs with Arvis Jones Campus Life.
Yep.
And then there was a race. Did you hear about the race?
No.
It was like a fundraiser that was going on the other side of campus.
Oh, I didn't even know that was happening.
Yes, and then it was the open house. And so people
yeah.
were showing up for the race.
Oh, we kind of caught some people.
Yes, and they were like, is this where we sign up? And I was like, no. Is this the Children's College? No. But, right. Exactly. And so I remember there's all these things going on, but it was so much fun. And you're absolutely right that little, what is this? It's right where we have the patio. The patio in the A building is where culinary used to set up. and you could get some popcorn from culinary, and then you could just walk through. And it's basically all the classrooms are open.
Yeah,
So
and they did
different-
ice sculptures.
Yes, they did.
My kids were so, they're like, oh, look at, they're doing ice sculpture. Yeah, they loved that. They thought that was the coolest thing ever.
I do remember that year that they brought the ice. Yes. That's so awesome.
And they had one that wasn't quite finished, so they could demonstrate kind of what they do. Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
So okay. Now dust off your apron.
My new
right?
dean, Daniel, that was his. He was,
That was
part
his
of
area.
That. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he remembers me from that open house
good.
too. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes. So Dean Guetta, dust off your apron, right? And Patrick Rosser, I know you're in there. Yes, and we would love to have you back and do that again. The music department, it's a recruitment vehicle for us.
And dance too.
And all of them.
Dance had a
theater,
great time.
art, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and we had the creative writing classrooms as well.
Oh, nice.
And they did some different, I think they did like little exercises, and they had chapbooks and different things out for people to see, what do you do as a writer? What do you,
Right.
And so that was cool. I think there was some readings and some different, if you wanted to sit and do like a journal prompt or something kind of thing.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, so there was, writing was in there too.
Quick question before we're forced to go away, before they kick us out. Papagayo. Is that an event that also happens on the Spring Arts?
Well, they're not really an event. The Papagayo is a club. There's one at VV and there's one at RG.
Okay.
And they're the literary club.
Okay.
Basically. And usually they sponsor events. I think this year the VV is going to do some sort of talent showcase, something, a theater, something maybe, or something.
Okay.
So it's not always writing. Sometimes they do, like clips.
Collaborative things.
Yeah. And then I think the RG Papagayo, they're sponsoring a reading. They're sponsoring Jose Oliveras coming in.
Okay.
And so that's what they're up to. So they're not always like the head of the event kind of thing, but they're usually part of something. Yeah.
Of something else. Got it.
Their support.
Okay. Yes, I see that office when I pass by down that hall, and I'm like, and I see the Instagram posts as well. Is that Jorge Gomez?
That's Jorge and Charlie. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. I would try and keep all of you in mind, right? So many of us. Well, Carolyn, I would first of all like to thank you for being on the show, for sharing with us. Just briefly, I don't know if there's anything that you want to mention on your end. Like I said, the folks at home will be seeing the poster as you and I are talking. So they'll get to see a few of the events that are going on. And when do the events start?
February 22nd is the first event.
Awesome.
And then this year, they're going to go through the end of May.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's long.
The art exhibition is actually not starting until the middle of May, I think, is the date.
Okay.
Let me check really quick
Sure.
what that date was. Oh, and I don't even have it written down here yet.
Okay.
But I believe it starts kind of mid-May and runs even maybe to the beginning of June, because it's going to be at the downtown museum.
Oh,
the art
beautiful.
museum.
Wonderful. Those art folks, man. They're always into everything. We're trying to compete with those folks, and it's hard. Well, thank you again for coming, and everybody, thank you for watching once again. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. Good to see everyone.